Crypto markets wipe out $150 billion of value within hours of China's latest Bitcoin ban. But first, let's look back at a history of the Bitcoin Group and China Bitcoin bans, brought to you by WorldCryptoNetwork.com, created by DJ Booth in Australia. Let's check it out. Remember, just a little while ago, on July 9th, 2021, Bitcoin Group number 266, when China cracked down on crypto. Issue 1. Analysis. Limited capacity logistics to slow Chinese Bitcoin miners' global shift. China is continuing to move Bitcoin miners out of China, but it's taking longer than you might think, unplugging all those computers and moving them somewhere else to plug them in. Also, China continues to crack down on Bitcoin, taking down a company that was suspected of providing software services for virtual currency transactions. For years, China has signaled that it wants to ban Bitcoin. They could be looking to stem capital outflows via stablecoins and cryptocurrencies next, or it could be all part of their 100th anniversary of the Chinese Communist Party. Be sure to give us a thumbs up down below if you're just starting to watch the show. Ben Ark. And who could forget, back on November 4th, 2016, Bitcoin Group number 115, when China banned Bitcoin. Issue 2. Bitcoin tanks on report that China is considering a crackdown. The cryptocurrency Bitcoin hit a low of 787 after seeing the heights of 740 and 745. Just look at the price of Bitcoin in this chart from Bloomberg. It's been up and down, fighting for the 700 barrier, with a 4-month high of 743 on Thursday. There is worry that Chinese authorities think that investors are using Bitcoin to illegally move money out of the country. Gabriel Devine, I ask you. And of course, before that, on the Bitcoin Group number 30, live from May 16th, 2014. Opening this Sunday in Hong Kong, Bitcoin Museum, Meetup Place, and more. Make the Bitcoin robot dance at hkbitcoinatm.com. On a similar note, hundreds attend China's first Bitcoin summit, defying Beijing's warning. China Issue 3, China Bitcoin boom. China is ignoring warnings, or perhaps heeding them as good advice and getting into Bitcoin anyway. Hundreds attended the Bitcoin conference in China, and Bitcoin businesses are moving offshore to get away from influence and plan to continue operating. Is Bitcoin truly the cyberpunk international currency of the future now that it is both banned and actively in use worldwide? And of course, back on the Bitcoin Group number 2 from September 13th, 2021.
I think Davi made a good point about the tulips, but it's not totally analogous with that because at the end of the day, the tulips were all valueless. Bitcoin is something that's very exciting, and it makes sense that there'd be a mania around it. The question is, how long will that mania last? And, you know, we're still heading up eventually, I think.
I think it lasts until it's a global currency, because every time there's a fresh influx of Bitcoin users, those users are they're newbies, they're virgins. And so they come in with a lot of enthusiasm and a lot of volatility. And so every time there's a new crop of people, they're going to panic more, they're going to buy and sell faster, and it's going to take them a couple of crashes and burns before they calm down like the rest of us. And so we're going to see that until it's everybody.
Exit question. The value of Bitcoin will go up or down? Davi Barker.
I think it's going up. I don't think it's going to hold.
I say it's going up in the short term and the long term.
Andreas.
It's going to bounce around chaotically in the short term, but in the long term, Bitcoin can't do a gradual rise. It can only do explosive.
In the long term, we're going to the moon. Issue 2, Bitcoins in China. Popular Chinese exchange BTC China is operating without exchange fees during the Chinese holiday. The price of a Bitcoin in China is surging. The government is turning a blind eye. Is China the new engine of Bitcoin? In China we trust? I ask you, Davi Barker.
Obviously, as you can tell, China and Bitcoin have been on this show again and again and again. And just recently, this last year, China banned Bitcoin mining, knocking all of the machines out of their country. Josh Shigala, what do you think about the latest Chinese ban? Is this the end of it? Obviously, it's all over the mainstream media. It's the craziest thing. If you play the Bitcoin crypto drinking game with CNBC, you'd be dead right now. Every 5 minutes, crypto, CNBC, Bitcoin, Ethereum, crypto, out of control. Josh, go ahead.
Yeah. Hey, by the way, that last video with Andreas isn't 2021. I don't know why that says that on the video.
Oh yeah, that's the re-upload from this year. It's probably 2014.
Yeah, right, gotcha. Well, look, it's so funny, isn't it? Actually, what I find quite interesting is that the price has usually done very dramatic things in the early days. So 2014, when China banned Bitcoin, it would do a full-on dump, like full-on diarrhea, and then the next one, full on again, a little bit less. Next one, full on again, a little bit less. This one, I mean, I hardly even really noticed. Yeah, it went down from like 37, 37 down to what, 35, something like that. Where are we? It just wasn't really that much of a. I didn't really notice it that much. All I noticed was the news in total chaos about it. Big, and that's the other interesting thing. I feel like all the newbie news outlets are like obsessed with China bans Bitcoin, when all of the old schoolers are like, what again? You know, and there's this old saying that that my Chinese friends say, that is like, the land is vast and the emperor is far away. And that's so true for a lot of the Chinese people. They just don't care. They'll move forward and they'll keep using Bitcoin, Ethereum, crypto. Actually, one thing that I find interesting with the China ban, and this comes for other countries that ban it, what you're really banning here is the on and off ramps and the mining. And this is where I feel like proof of stake does have an advantage over proof of work, because there's guarantee will be Chinese proof of stake miners mining all over the place, because it's very hard to determine that's what they're doing if you're encrypting properly. Whereas proof of work, really, you just can't get away from it. If it's truly hardcore illegal and you're going to prison, it's kind of hard to hide gigawatts of power just getting drained from a city without your front door getting knocked down. So that's the only thing about proof of work, is it's kind of hard to hide when it gets to mass scale. Although, you know, saying that, it's kind of hard to find if you've just got a single miner running, and it could be that you just really love to have saunas every day. Yeah, let's see what happens. The Chinese people are very, very clever. They get around stuff. They have for years. There's nothing really that stops them. Bitcoin is, as I like to say, the fainting goat of money, as well as the honey badger. It gets tipped over by the clap of China and then stands straight back up again. So it's I'm not too concerned.
It's never too late. Adam McBride, welcome back to the show. What do you think? China news, the biggest news in the world, a complete disaster, or nothing to worry about?
It's good to be back, by the way. And what it is, I see it's the battle of good and evil. I mean, it's just what it is. It's the battle of good and evil. And you see what authoritarians do, which is grab as much power as they potentially can. I hope Josh is right. I don't know many Chinese people, so I pray he's right, that the Chinese people are industrious and can keep a little bit of control for themselves, or try to maintain some sort of control for themselves. Because the reality is what this is more power grab by an authoritarian regime. And every one of us who is living in the free world needs to pay attention to this, because when your government comes for you and your crypto, be very aware what this is. This is a grab for continued power and to never let the reins of power go. So you head on a swivel. You got to be really careful.